Yes, good afternoon. Yeah, today the subject is your subject is ICT, that is Information and Communication Technology. This is your today's subject name. Yeah, see. So what is ICT? We will see now first. Are you able to see my screen? Can you respond? Is it a visible screen? Yes, guys. Just put in the chat text box whether it is visible or not. Okay. If it is not visible, you put it in the text box. You put your message in the text box. Now see what is ICT. See, today the technology can be used for creating and communication of information. Okay. That means that here the ICT includes the ICT means what? Information and communication technology. So what it mean it will create and display, store, process, and transmit, share, or exchange. Exchange, what it does, it do all these things for information. Okay. So ICT does, it create, display, store all these things for information by electronic devices, that means through electronically. So this definition is given by UNESCO in 2007. So this is what the meaning of the ICT here. We will see what is a create and display, store, process. We will see one by one. Okay. Now, like this discipline, which will deals in the creation of communication, that is called ICT. Now, with the diagram, you will understand. This is the diagram. With this, you can understand what is and what are the devices are involved in the exchange of information. This is one device. Okay, this is one device. This is one device. This is one device. These are all devices involved in for exchanging the information through electronic components, or you can say through electronically. So that is the meaning of the ICT. Is my voice is audible, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. And the screen is visible, right?
Yes, clearly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. In the between, if you have any doubts, you can put it in the chat box. So I'll keep on explaining. If you still anywhere you have a doubt, I can put it in the chat box. Okay. So what is ICT means? So this is the general definition we can understand. So next we will see. Now, what is a computer now? See, see here. The computer is just a dead collection of plastic, silicon, and metal. Okay. Until you press the power button. Okay. What it means is all the components inside the computer, okay, which we call debt collection. That means there is no kind of communication between them. Okay, this is a computer. Okay, this is having the, let us say, power button. Okay, until you press the power button, okay, and this computer is having no use. That is the meaning of debt collection means. Here collection means this computer containing so many components. So many components. The components we can call input output devices, IO. In the shortcut, we will say IO, input output devices. Now, these input output devices, how they are inside the computer means they are some devices are plastic, some devices are silicon component, some devices are metal component. So this is a collection of these, collection of plastic component, a collection of silicon component, a collection of metal component. So which are dead collection means here what? There is no communication between these components. When until you press the power button, there is no communication between all these components. I hope it is clear to everyone. Now, that is what the computer contains. Until we press the power button, there is no communication between these components. These components we are representing with a dead collection component. Okay, that is what a computer is. Now we will understand one by one. Now initially the computers were developed. Initially the computers were developed to perform mathematical operations. Okay, some kind of calculation, mathematical operations. So you can understand here. Example, you can understand 1 plus 1. What is 1 plus 1 is 2. We know it is a 2. As a human being, we know it is a 2. But how the computer will understand this 1 and this symbol and this 1 and this symbol. So how these data is understood by the computer. So that is the kind of an operation. Here we simply performed 1 plus 1. It is a one operation. You can perform 1 minus 1. It is one operation. You can perform 2 into 1 is an operation. So for these kind of operations, the computers were developed initially. So that is the purpose. So that is what a computer is. The computer is a collection of dead components, and initially it is developed for to perform mathematical operations. Now these 2 points, if anyone is not having a computer background, now you will understand with these two statements what is computer and what is the purpose of the computer is to develop. I hope it is clear. Next one, the computer characteristics. So what kind of nature the computer is having? So that is the characteristics. So computer is having a speed, computer is having an accuracy, computer is having no IQ. Okay. See, uh, from the beginning of the computers to nowadays computers, these characteristics may change. You can understand with your own perception, with your own experience, you can understand these characteristics. Okay. Somebody, if I say no IQ means somebody will say no, it is having IQ. So that you understand with your own perception. Okay. It is not that okay, it is storing the data, it is having IQ. It is we can able to access the data, it is having an IQ. It is not like that. And one characteristic is diligence. And another characteristic is data storage and no heuristic. So these are the kind of characteristics a general computer contains. Not only general computer, any computer can be normal computer or supercomputer. Any computer contain these characteristics. Now see the speed. What is the speed of the computer is? The speed is any computer is problems much faster than human being. Now I said 1 plus 1. So any human being will quickly reply within fraction of seconds. It is a true. Even computer also will quickly respond. What is 1 plus 1 is 2. So you will argue with me that there is no difference between human being and computer. How can you say computer is very fast and is having a speed? Anybody is having this question, this kind of question? Yeah. Yeah. Please respond if anyone if is having this kind of questions. This class is like interactive class.
No, sir.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. So what's the speed? See, the speed we can measure the speed we can calculate with big calculations. Okay. So 1 plus 1 means anybody will respond within fraction of seconds. But if the number is big, so let us say if the number is big, 1 plus, if the number is big, for the human being, it will take little bit time, but the computer, it will take fraction of seconds and milliseconds. So that is the called speed. In how much time the computer able to uh, process the data. That is we call as speed. Next one is accuracy. Accuracy means without mistakes. Without mistake, we call it an accuracy. Okay. So for example is again 1 plus 100. Okay. Somebody will say it is 101. Okay. Somebody will say it is 1100. Okay. So if say 101, it is correct. But if say 1100 means it is wrong. So that means we are giving the answer with accurately. Okay, accurately. That means computer is giving the output and accurately. So without making mistakes. So that is called accuracy. So here is no IQ. They are selling that is really no IQ. That is it. Why it is called no IQ means we are training the computer. It is not taking the data on its own automatically, and it is not analyzing the data on its own automatically, and it is not replying the answer on its own automatically. So everything is we programming. That is called programmed. Everything is we are programming. So it is giving the answers based on the programming way. So that is the reason it is not called. It is not having no IQ. So in terms of programming way, we can say it is not having no IQ. Okay. But what is your perception is you think as per that. Next one is diligence. So exactly again, it is also same like that. It can carry out task over and over again with exactly the same result every time. Okay, it doesn't tired. Okay. So as a human being, we may get tired, but a computer cannot exhausted and tired. Okay, that is what diligence here is. Repeatedly, it does the same task without any hesitation and tiredness. Next one is data storage. So data storage, you can say that there are so many components are there. You can say HDD, hard disk drive, then SSD, and you can say pen drive. You can say pen drive. So these are the kind of components to store the data. That means the computer is able to store. That is called data storage. Computer can able to store the data. For storing the data, we require some device. So these are the devices, storage devices. We will discuss one by one in remaining classes. So next one is a compute no heuristic. Heuristics mean the computer is is a dumb machine. Just is a machine, right? It's never ever learns from its past experience. And this is also one kind of the hypothetical characteristics. This is one kind of hypothetical characteristics. And no heuristic also one kind of hypothetical characteristics. The people will argue with us. So how can you say that the machine is dumb? The machine is doing everything for us, and the machine is able to remember everything. The machine is having every question is having an answer. So how can you say it is not having an IQ? And how can you say it is a dumb machine? So people will argue with us. That is all based on their kind of perception, how they will understand the computers. Yes. So this is what the computer characteristics. Some of these characteristics are there. But there are so many characteristics. I have listed only very few here. I hope you will understand this one. Next one.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, these are the two things I have put it in the PPT, but remaining we will understand with the textbook now. Everyone, you know that NCERT textbook is very good for computers, basic computers to understand. I'm referring the textbook. The same thing I'll display here. We can go through with that. Yes. Next one, generations of computers. See, I forgot to share more thing. Yeah. So this is your syllabus. This is your syllabus. The first block contains introduction to computers and operating system and user interface and security. This is the first block, that is 4 units. And the remaining is the second block is understanding about the software and policies, some policies, and then the role of ICT, then how do we use the ICT in our daily life. So this is placed in the second unit. I think if you all of you having the syllabus with you. If it is not having, you take this screenshot with you. Just keep it for future reference. So we are understanding in the first block now. So that is introduction to the computers. We'll discuss today. Then we'll discuss operating system also.
Sir, I
Now,
have it in second lesson, sir.
sorry, madam.
Actually, the syllabus అంతా ఆల్మోస్ట్ కవర్ చేశాను. సెకండ్ చాప్టర్ సెకండ్ లెసన్ లో నాకు డౌట్ ఉంది సార్, అందుకోసం జాయిన్ కమాండ్ లైన్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ చెప్పండి సార్.
No, actually, I have the instructions that I have to start from the first basic onwards because so many people are attending, right, madam? So
ఓకే
for them, I'm taking from first unit onwards. If you see, put the topic with you, and if you have any doubt, then we'll second block we will discuss.
ఇట్స్ నాట్ సెకండ్ బ్లాక్ సార్, సెకండ్ లెసన్ ఓన్లీ. ఇట్స్ సెకండ్ లెసన్.
That about introduction to operating? Sorry, is that a graphical user interface?
Operating in operating systems, I need a little bit explanation to command line interface.
Yeah, we do
Actually,
understand. We do understand with the command line interface also. We'll understand with that. It is.
actually, I'm a Telugu medium student. That's why I get Telugu book. But I couldn't understand the Telugu. Uh, yeah.
Okay, okay. And parallel me Telugulo మాట్లాడండి. See, I have instructions that I have to speak in English because there's so many people are attending, right? So
Okay.
I don't know people how many languages they are comfortable in. So the common language I'm using is English. See,
అది
if
బట్ ఇంగ్లీష్ లో ఉండుంటే చదివితే అర్థమై ఉండేది, కానీ ఇది తెలుగులో బుక్ ఉంది నా దగ్గర, ఇంగ్లీష్ బుక్ లేదు. సో ఇదేంటి అనేది
uh,
కొన్ని అర్థం కావట్లేదు సార్.
that you post to me, how do you post? That you post to me, then I'll understand. I'll try to explain to you.
2.6 కమాండ్ లైన్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్.
Okay, I'll see. I'll see. You put it in the chat box that what is that lesson number 2.6 and see, I don't know if I speak in Telugu, then some other people are there, right? The people who are in the So they will raise a question.
Oh, I know.
So, so the common language I have to speak here, but
It's
I'm
okay.
very basic terminology I'm using here. I'm not using any advanced terminology here. Very
యాక్చువల్ మీడియం తీసుకోవడం వల్ల ఈ బుక్ తెలుగులో వచ్చింది, కానీ ఇంగ్లీష్ యాక్చువల్లీ బీఎస్సీ కంప్యూటర్స్.
Can we continue, sir? Sorry for disturbing.
ఓకే.
yeah, okay. Yeah, if you have any, then you can put in the chat box, please.
ఓకే.
Yeah. So this is syllabus, then you all of you keep with your syllabus with you. So as per the syllabus, we will go through the chapters.
We have the syllabus, sir. Please continue.
Yeah. Now see, the first chapter we are talking about the introduction to computers now. Then after that, operating system. So in that you see here, we understood characteristics. This is the characteristics. Then after the generations of the computers are there. Some concepts we have to mandatory we have to understand. That's why I'm discussing basic points here. So next to generations of the computers here, see there are generations are there. So in the first generation, the second generation, third generation, likewise are there. And there are some years when the generation is started, the years are also there here. This is not a big concept to understand. Just it is in a theory when it is started and all. So in that generation, what kind of changes it is occurred in the particular generation? See, in the first generation, there is example of the, these kind of computers. So vacuum based and they are very costly. We can say that the vacuum based and very costly. And we use the assembly language. One kind of the programming language it is. And example for the first generation computers where this is a ENIAC and EDSCSC, EDVAC. These are computers, UNIVAC. These are the first generation computers. The second generation computers were started in the year of 1955 to 65. This is the year range. And here, these type of the second generation computers, the programming languages were used. So what are the kind of changes? Only two changes. In the first generation, they are vacuum tubes. And the kind of computers were these one, anyway, these are all. And the programming language was assembly language. In the second generation, the programming language for Fortran and COBOL, that is high level language. And the computer example computers were these computers, IBM and Honeywell. These are the kind of computers. And the technology they have used is transistors instead of the vacuum tubes. So these are the changes from first generation to the second generation. And you concentrate on only three characteristics. What is the kind of programming language? What is the kind of that computer it is? What kind of computer programming language? And some its architecture type. Next one is third generation. See third generation. The third generation, they use the small scale integrated circuits. And the example for these third generation computers were these one, mainframe and IBM mainframe computers and mini computers, and these are all. And yes, these are the architecture. And the language was it was a high level language only. And the fourth generation was, it is example, it is the Intel microprocessors. These are microprocessors in the fourth generation. This year is the started year, fourth generation, and third generation was the 65 to 75. And the fifth generation was, and this is the processor, same this Intel processor, but their architecture type is different. So these are the, languages for high level languages. Here object oriented programming language like Java is there, but it is also called high level language. So these are the kind of differences between these generations of the computers. When they were started, what is the architecture type they used, and what is the programming language, what the example for the particular generation computer. So these 4 points you concentrate to understand. Next one is next one is basic point is how they process the data. Now see this diagram. It is input, any computer will take input and any computer will give output. And in the middle, what it does is it does process. So that process we are telling inside the CPU. Now inside the CPU, there is a memory. Okay, there is a memory. So general high level is high level diagram. So every computer will take input and every computer will give output. And in the between, there is a process and in the between, there is a memory. So inside this, there is a mathematical calculations are happening. Initially, we understood that computers were developed for mathematical calculations. So in between, everything is performing here. That is processing. We can say processing. We can say calculation or computation. Any kind of terminology. So this is a high level diagram to understand how the computer will perform the data. Yes, one more point is, so where we use the ICT, where we use the ICT system is a kind of, that is at workplace is one and at home is one. So at workplace, the ICT is different. At home, the ICT is different. Here different means what are the kind of computers we use at workplace is different. And what are the kind of computers we use at home is different. And for that computer, this is a computer, for that computer, what are the external devices you connect to is different from workplace to home. So that is two types of ICT we generally use. One is at workplace, one is at home. Yes. Yes, one more important point is, yeah, one more important point is here the components. Here see the components. Hardware components are classified. We'll see software also. We'll see first hardware. Hardware components are classified. So why hardware components here? Any computer. So computer is a collection of physical components. We understood physical components. This is a computer, and this computer is having a CPU. This is a monitor. This is a CPU, and this is a keyboard. Here it is mouse. These are connected through cable. These are connected. So this is called hardware components. Hardware components means that components you can physically touch and feel. That type of components we are calling hardware components or physical components. And these hardware components are divided into some classifications. One classification is input device. One classification is input device. So input device means we will say that the name itself is telling devices. The devices means they are physical components. And physical components we can touch and feel. So these devices are likewise. Example device we given here, but there are so many devices are there, input devices. The mouse is one input device, keyboard is one input device, microphone, scanner, camera, and graphic tablet, joystick, and trackball. These are the kind of input devices we connect to the computer. So what kind of activity you perform with the input devices depending on the kind of devices functionality it is. Now see here, the input device, they allow user to enter data and instruction into computer. So, and previous we understood, any computer will take input, any computer will take input, it will process the data, that is process, and it gives the output. So these 3 points, any computer will have. Every computer will take the input data, every computer will process the data, every computer will give the output. So here, what is the job of the input we are talking? Here, input device, what is the job? They allow the user to enter the data. Yeah, this is the user. If the user wants any work with the computer, they have to give input. So example, you can take so many examples. Your phone example, you can take. You want to open the phone. So you are giving input is your phone password. You are entering the password. To enter the password, what you are doing? You are using your display, phone display. That is one kind of the input device. If you go to ATM machine is taking the input as your card. So that start is one input device. It taking your input data. So any kind of work you want with the computer, it is mandatory that you have to provide some input. So to provide the input mean there is one device is there to allow the input. So that is why it is called input devices. So in the market, there are so many input devices are there. So example, we listed only few input devices here. So job of the input device is what? It allow the data and instructions. You can call data, you can call instruction, whatever. So these are the job of all these input devices. What are the devices we have mentioned here? All these input devices, they take the data from the user. Next classification is output devices. Now see here, output devices. Now input devices means we understand the computer will, if you want to enter any data, you require a device. Because the computer will talk to the devices only, not with you and me. Computers will talk to the device. So they take the data from the input devices only. And after taking the data, this is the input, this is the user is giving input. Let us say this is a keyboard. With the keyboard, you given the data to the computer. This is the CPU. So CPU is processing the data. You are given instruction. Okay. And after processing, it has to display the output. Processed output, it has to display on the output screen. That output screen we are calling output devices. So here the process can be any kind of process. I am not particularly talking any one process here. Example, we'll take this example 1 plus 1 I want to know. So 1 plus 1 will be taken to the keyboard. Keyboard will take. Then it will give to the CPU. Then CPU will process this 1 plus 1 how much? And it display on the output device. So there are so many output devices are there here. Say monitor, RVDU, visual display unit, and printers, plotters, speakers. So here in the computer, we use generally monitor. So on the monitor, it will display the output like 2. So this is the way the computers will process the input data and they give the output on the output device. I hope you will understand this process. Anybody having
Yes, sir.
doubt? Sorry.
Sir, we understand.
Yeah. This way the output devices will work, and you can list out so many output devices are there. You can list out based on your interest. And next kind of devices are storage devices. Next kind of devices are storage devices. And what the purpose of the storage devices here? Now we understood. Just now we understood. First one is input. Input will take input devices. And next one is CPU, that is a process. Next one is the output. Okay. And this input, if you want to store inside the computer, if you wanted to store inside the computer, or if you wanted to store inside the mobile phone, you required one more device called storage devices. So here each and every physical component functionality is defined. So input devices functionality is to take the input. Then output devices functionality is to display the output. Then storage devices functionality is to store the data. So like this, we have to understand the device functionality. So if you understand the device functionality, you will understand the better way that how to use the devices very efficiently. So example output devices we have listed out here. So in the textbook, they might be very limited devices they can give for your reference. But based on your interest, you can collect so many input devices, output devices, storage devices, likewise. You can say example here is floppy disk is there, floppy disk, then hard disk, and the CD. Again, in the CD, there are two types of CDs are there, CDR and CDRW. Okay, these are output devices. Every output devices, their internal architecture is different. Architecture means design. The floppy design is different. Then hard disk design is different. Then CD design is different. And their capacity is different. Capacity means storage is different. So like this. So in one line, you can understand that the storage device's purpose is to store the data. So this is the, again, if you take the one hard disk, this is a hard disk internal component structure it is. If you understand in depth about all these components, so our time will not be sufficient. So that's why very high level I am discussing. Based on your interest, you can go through in depth about these all topics. So 1 minute. Yeah. So these are all the devices are having internal design. So if you are more interested on the computers, you can understand the internal structure of the every device. So here the time is very less for us. So I am understanding very high level. So remaining you can explore on your own interest. And coming to next one is CD. In the CD, there are two types of CDs are there. One is CDR and one is CDRW. So what is CDR means here? Every device having its own full form. It is. So CD compact disk, which is recordable. We can only write into the CD. Only one time we can write into the CD. This is one. Next one is CDRW means we can rewrite. We can rewrite as many times as we want. That is CDRW. RW stands for rewritable. Rewritable. And next one of the CD is DVD. Then DVD is what? Digital versatile disk, and which is having the capacity is 4.7 GB. So every storage device is having their own capacity. Capacity means how much data they can store. Example, we take phone for phone. Internal memory is defined. Internal memory is fixed. If you take SIM card internal SIM card storage capacity is fixed. So once the storage is full, we cannot store any kind of data into that. Only we can store after deleting some kind of data from that. And these devices also same thing. So here in the DVD, we can store up to 4.7 GB. In the CD, we can store up to some MB it is. I think so. MB only we can store. How much MB? That can be 4 MB or 7 MB, 700 MB. Here, see, it is 700 MB. But nowadays, CDs, how much they will store, you can check on that. So these are the differences between all these kind of devices. The one more kind of device is Blu-ray disc, and Blu-ray disc size is how much? 25 GB. It is 25 GB. So DVD is 4.7 GB. So hard disk will take 1 TB, 2 TB, likewise. So every storage device capacity is having some kind of storage capacity. So that is about, next one, it is USB is there, pen drive, then memory card. So all are these kind of devices. So we have discussed here is, one is input devices and output devices and storage devices. Storage devices. These are the kind of devices are there. Not only these, there are so many kind of devices are there. Based on your interest, you can explore. So we understood that basic computer, how it works. Input the data, then it will take to process the data, then it will display the data. That means output. To perform these functionalities, now we have used the above devices. These devices. For input the data, we have to use input devices. For process the data, we have to use some kind of devices. And for output, we have to use output devices. And to store our output data, to store our sorry, to store our output data, we are using storage devices. Storage devices. So this is the kind of devices we use in the computer. I hope you understand until now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll next move on to memory, CPU. Now we understood, till now we understood. So input, for we have used the input devices. Okay, input devices. And in the middle, process is there. The process, we understood it is a CPU. So now we are understanding what is CPU now. And we understood output device also. For the output, we use the output devices. Output device. Now we are in the middle. CPU. What it is CPU? How it will process our data? What is inside the CPU? What is called memory? These things we will understand now. Now see, CPU, Central Processing Unit. So what a CPU contains here is, we'll understand layer by layer. First, we will understand with memory. Let's say CPU contains memory. Now, system unit is a box that protects the internal electronic component from the damage. So you can say CPU is one, it is like one box, or it is like one casing. So what is inside that? There are so many internal components are there. You might be aware about the CPU well. So inside the CPU, there are so many internal electronic components are there. So it is protecting all components. That box is protecting the all components from the damage. Okay, that is the CPU. Now inside the CPU, what are the kind of components, internal components? Very few components we will understand. We can't understand every component what is inside the CPU. So one component here is where the memory. One is memory, and see what is memory here. The memory again, the memory. This is the memory. There are two categories of memory. One is primary memory, one is secondary memory. The secondary memory you can also call external memory. External memory, we understood that all external devices, storage devices, that is secondary memory. So primary memory is inside the CPU. This is the primary memory. The primary memory components are inside the CPU. Inside the CPU means on top of the motherboard, you can understand. Nowadays, everybody know about the computers. So this primary memory components, you can say RAM and ROM, read-only memory and random access memory. These are inside the CPU. And the secondary memory, that is external memory, that is external devices. They can be inside the CPU. They can be, you can attach and detach the from the CPU. So what is RAM and what is ROM, read-only memory? See here, RAM, it is a one kind of memory. We understood is a primary memory which is inside the CPU. It refers to that uh, that memory is stored here and disappear where the machine is turned off. See, it is a RAM, random access memory. This is the RAM. So this RAM, how that memory will work means whenever you switch off the computer, turned off means switch off the computer. Inside of this memory, whatever it is there, that will be removed. So this is also called volatile memory. Some terminology you remember specific to computer when you are writing the answer. With respect to terminology, you have to write the answer instead of writing on your own. Some kind of terminology you have to use. Here, volatile memory. That is whenever your machine is turned off. I mean, whenever you switch off the computer, that memory will be removed from the memory. This is called RAM, random access memory. This is inside the CPU. Next one is RAM, read-only memory. Now see this read-only memory, it is permanently stored. See here, it is permanently stores a set of instructions. The instructions are nothing but kind of data, you can understand. It's a data or information, some kind of data it is, instruction means here. So it permanently storing, RAM means. Next one is secondary memory, or you can say auxiliary memory. So like these, there are memories are there. These are memories are there. Memory means this is one of the component inside this CPU. Now one more important point here is the very important. Next one is units of memory. How do we measure? How do we measure the our data stored inside the memory or inside the storage devices? Okay, you see here the memory, storage, files, and folders. All these measures in some kind of measurement. So that measurement is here in terms of bits you can store, in terms of bytes we can call it as a memory measurement. It is we can measure in terms of bits, we can measure in terms of bytes, we can measure in terms of MB. MB stands here megabytes. I'll write for your clarification. Bits can measure in terms of bits, you can measure in terms of bytes, and you can measure in terms of MB. MB stands megabytes. Next, measure in terms of GB, that is gigabytes. And next in terms of TB, that is terabytes. Okay. Next, we can measure in terms of KB, that is kilobytes. Okay. So if you understand, these are the some kind of measurements. So in this, by using these measurements, we can how much data is there inside the storage devices or inside the memory, we will understand this. So here for your clarification, little bit depth I'm talking here. The bits here is bits. If it is uh, if it is 2 bits, we are calling it is binary. If it is 2 bits, we call it is a binary. If it is bits are 4 bits, it is called nibble here. You can see on the screen, it is a nibble, 4 bits. And if it is 8 bits, we call it is 1 byte. Okay. I can understand it like this. This is the memory. Here, see, if it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So here how many they are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So when there are four bits are there, that is called nibble. Okay. And when it is 2 bits are there, it is called binary. Okay. When it's 8 bits are there, you can say here these locations, 8 bits. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, 8. When it's 8 bits are there, this is 1 byte. Okay. Like this, the computer measure your data which are stored inside the memory. How much data is occupied inside your storage devices is measured based on these measurements in terms of bits, in terms of bytes, in terms of kilobytes, in terms of say here, in terms of kilobytes, in terms of megabytes, in terms of gigabyte and terabyte. If you talk in depth about it, it is having a lot of things are there, but I am not talking more in depth now. So these are the one word you can understand. We use these measurements to measure our memory. So what purpose we are measuring? How much data is occupied inside the memory. Still there is anything is there to store or not, we will measure based on these measurements. So that is one. Next, coming to software now. Now coming to software. Here software is, it is not a physical component. See, hardware means we understood is a physical component that we can touch and feel. But software is not a physical component. It is a logical component. So that we can't touch and feel. We may feel with our senses, but it is not exactly that. So these softwares are divided into these two parts, application software and system software. And application software, again, there are two parts, general purpose application software and which are customized application software. Customized means we have the choice how you can install that kind of software in our computer or that kind of application in our computer. So that is the meaning of customized here. And system softwares are, example, operating systems are there, then utility softwares are there. So these are the software classifications. Hardware classification we understood. We understood till now. Hardware.
Yes, sir, we understand.
Yeah. Now, as of now, whatever the topics we concluded, just I'm concluding within 1 minute. Do you have any class further now? Shall I continue?
Please continue, sir.
Continuous.
Because the university's given time is 1:30 to 2:30. That's why I'm asking, you have any class or not?
It's okay, sir.
Sir, we
Continue.
don't have.
Yeah, okay. Fine. Just give me 1 minute time. I'll confirm with the university people.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Shall I continue or not? Just let me confirm with the university people. Please hold on 1 minute. Yeah, guys, you have one more class, it seems. The university officials are telling. So we'll continue. If they give that time to me again, I'll continue with the remaining topics. And this PDF, then PPT, I'll keep with the university. If anybody requests, if you wanted to take, you can take it from the university. Is it okay, right?
Okay, sir.
Next class, when can we expect, sir? On Sunday or Saturday?
Next class, as per the schedule is given to me, again, one more class is on 15th is there. But in the middle, I don't know if they give me the time, then I'll join the class. You
15th
contact
on
with
this
your
Saturday.
you contact with the university administration department.
Okay.
So as per their given schedule, I'm taking. But if you want anything extra classes and all, you contact with them. As per that, I'll take. Am I clear, right?
Yeah, okay, sir.
So I'm concluding this now today. Yeah, thank you, Aish.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, are you there?
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind, I just shared my email ID. If you can share this PPT, I will share to everybody.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please put it in the chat box.
Yeah, I sent my email, sir, in the chat box.
Just a minute. Just a minute. Let me check. Just a minute. Yeah, we know the K dot 10 JUL. Is that right? Is that right? We know dot 10.
Yes, sir. Correct, sir.
Yeah, I'll copy this. However, I'll keep this all material with the university. Don't worry.
But we are
From
not able to
university,
contact.
we will not get, sir.
Acha, okay. Yeah, no issue, no issue. Whatever the email ID is, I just you sent, I'll forward.
Thank you, sir.
I'll forward. Definitely. Thank you.
Okay then, everybody. Bye bye.